Hi, this is Barry Haimo. Thanks for tuning in for another dose of bite-sized bits of knowledge where we give you meaningful information in a short amount of time. Today we're going to continue with our discussion of trust. We're going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of them. Predominantly we're talking about revocable trusts, and I'll touch on irrevocable trusts in a moment as well briefly. So the advantages, let's start with the pluses first. Pluses of trusts. Number one, you're going to get all your assets in an organized fashion, consolidate into one entity instead of all over the place. That actually translates to saving a lot of dollars later because someone's going to have to clean it up later. Number two, you're going to have the assets be responsibly managed by somebody for the benefit of your beneficiaries, your trustee for the benefit of your beneficiaries. Number three, you're going to avoid probate and guardianship during life, which again saves dollars, it saves time, energy, frustration. It alleviates conflict, which saves dollars. I think I'm on number five. There's an asset protection component of trusts. I want to make very clear that revocable trusts are still on the hook for a person who's passed away, deceased, or decedent's claims or creditor's claims. They're not protected from claims. Revocable trusts provide zero asset protection benefits. Zero, donut. No asset protection. If you've heard otherwise, disregard it, it's wrong. After you pass away, after your creditors are addressed, at that point, then there's an asset protection component for the interests that remain in trust for your beneficiaries. That's where the asset protection component comes in. So really, it's an asset protection component for your beneficiaries, not you, not you. While I'm talking about asset protection, just so you know, irrevocable trusts are commonly referred to or commonly used because of their asset protection, but they're very limited in what they can do. And if you do them wrong, they are absolutely accessible to creditors. So you got to be careful to make sure that your irrevocable trusts are actually doing what you think they're doing. Because very commonly we get these questions and we hate being the bearer of bad news, but it's unfortunate if you've put something into an irrevocable trust, thinking it does one thing it does not do, then you got to unwind it, and that's more wasted money to fix it, if you can even fix it at all. So, all right, so advantages of trust, you got your organization, you got your management, you got the asset protection, probate avoidance, guardianship avoidance. There's a lot of benefits there. There's a lot of, I would say one last thing would be, you're ensuring that what you want to have happen with your assets and your beneficiaries will happen well beyond your lifetime, because your trustee, who has a fiduciary duty, is obligated to do it. Okay, so you really can make sure that money is available to supplement rather than support your beneficiaries. And to whatever degree you want to do that, you can do that, and you can customize any way you want for the most part in your trust agreement. We get very granular with our clients. We really understand our clients' needs, what their goals are, and how to tailor these agreements to their circumstances. It's one of our favorite things to do. All right, on the negative side, trusts. I think it's important to always share, be transparent, you know, what the disadvantages are, because there are some, and it might not be worth it for you, or you might just not want to deal with it. So, negatives of trust. Number one, taxes, income taxes. Trusts, the tables, the federal income tax tables that apply to trusts are adverse. Usually the highest personal rates on the tables is triggered at only $12,500 in income. $12,500 triggers like a 40% tax. So you must be thinking, well, why the heck are you even talking about this? Why the heck are there so many trusts created? The answer is that you can avoid or eliminate that tax. You just got to be smart with how you're going to administer the trust. The trustee, that is, will have to understand how to do this. There are a lot of ways to minimize the taxes, to push them out to the beneficiaries to their personal rates, which are most likely going to be much lower than the trust. For example, for an extreme example, say you have a beneficiary, two beneficiaries, one's a doctor, one's a janitor. If there's income and you're going to distribute it out, those two people are going to pay very different taxes because it's going to be picked up on their personal returns. The alternative is leaving it in the trust and getting taxed much more heavily, which may or may not be a good idea. That leads us to number 2. To make decisions about how to administer the trustee is going to have to consult with professional advisors. They're going to have to pay for attorney's fees and pay for CPA fees to do the tax returns, because they are a standalone taxpayer once you pass away. So there's administrative fees, there's legal fees, there's accounting fees, the last thing I'll say is there's compensation. This is a job, and dealing with beneficiaries and asking for money or requests, or being on top of the management of the trust and making sure that everything's in order is a job. And as a result, under Florida law at least, trustees are entitled to reasonable compensation. Reasonable compensation. So, maybe you can always waive that, but those are really the downfalls. You got your fees, expense, administrative costs, and compensation. So put it all together, at least have a discussion about it in your planning, and I hope that you found this helpful. Thank you for stopping by, and stay tuned for more.